Hi guys, this is Lauren from One Step Heavier. Welcome to our channel. Today I want to talk to you about a rock band known as Palais Royal. Palais Royal? How is it again? Palais Royal. So the band was formed by three brothers, Remington on the vocals, Emerson on the drums, and Sebastian on the guitar. They signed up with this metal record called Sumerian Records in 2015, and that's how I discovered them as a very big metalcore fan. I got very surprised when I saw Sumerian sign these guys. The first time you sort of see some pictures, what strikes you is the outfit. So they have this very Renaissance sort of gothic pirate aesthetics, and this is really their trademark. That's what sells them, and that's what their fans love, and that also is what their entire storyline is about. They had released some previous albums without Sumerian, but since they have been signed, they released 3 albums. Boom Boom Room Side A was released in 2016. The Side B was released in 2018. And the latest one is The Bastards, released in 2020. And that's the one we will focus on today's podcast. I'm looking for you out there. I'm looking for truth inside your stare. I'm looking for you outside, 'cause I mean it. No, I mean it. You'll be fine. With The Bastards, they have stretched the storyline to not only music, but also to arts, drawings, paintings, short movies, and even graphic novels. In fact, this is one of the main topic of today's video, the release of The Bastards Volume 1, their very first graphic novel. It is a concept album, meaning it revolves around a storyline, and each of the tracks sort of gives an insight in the story and provides clues onto what's going on in the Palais Royal universe. Underlying concept of The Bastards is that society surrounding us is toxic, and in order to keep free speech, free imagination, and be able to create art, you need to sort of step back from this toxic environment. One of the main symbols of The Bastards that you can see in a lot of music videos is the gas mask. So gas mask is what you put on when you don't want to have the gas coming into your body, right? So if the gas here is seen as the toxicity in the air, the gas mask is what will prevent it from sort of coming to you, and what will enable you to remain free and have your own individuality and be able to create whatever you want to create. So when they released the album, they didn't just release the album. They also went and published a full graphic novel called The Bastards. So this is the volume 1. Presumably the volume 2 will not be called The Bastards, because they officially announced that the era of The Bastard is finished. So they will probably call it something else, but volume 2 is in the process and will be published, I hope, shortly. So what is the graphic novel about? It's a book of about 260 pages. It was drawn and written by Emerson, so the drummer, and his friend known as XO Billy on Instagram. And she's an illustrator, and she sort of drew the entire comic part of the graphic novel and all the visuals that go with it. you can see that they really took a lot of time, they put a lot of style, they put a lot of their aesthetics into these graphic novels. It's just visually pleasant, it's just beautiful. I like the fact that there was a part comics. I really wish there would be more comics. So in the volume 2, I sort of hope they will go for more of a comic style and less of a novel style, because for this one, I would say that it's 1/3 comics and 2/3 novel style with just written lines on nice pages still. But I really love the comics much more than I love the novel style. They also released another album, sort of a soundtrack to the book, consisting, I think, about 20 tracks, 19 to 20 tracks, over 2 hours, and it's classical slash ambience piece of music. So you're supposed to listen to it when you're reading, and it just provides you with an entire immersive experience. It's this really nice ambient sound, sort of following what happens in the book. So when you have a sort of stressful chapter, the music just goes really tense. It's really nice. I was born to be anything I wanted to be, raised to be fucking mean. I'm a masterpiece. They have been planting the storyline along since the start of the band, really. Emerson himself, I think he declared on some interview that he knew where the band was going. He knew what storyline he wanted to go for. He was just waiting for the right moment and sort of planting details here and there in music videos, in his drawings, in his art, in his short movies. Sort of everywhere he touched, he planted some clue that you can sort of find. And now when you read the graphic novel, it feels like a key to all those clues that have been planted there over the years. The fact that the very first page is the same sort of imagery as the very first music video they did. I love how it just sends you back to whatever has been given to you a long time ago, and you just open it, you're like, oh, this is what it was about. It fits in the overall Renaissance Gothic style of the band. So it is set in the 1800s in a fictional land of Obsidian. So Obsidian is an empire that consists of several cities and several parts, and it follows the story of 3 brothers. So it's based on the real 3 brothers in the band that wake up on the shore of some shipwreck cemetery on one part of the empire. And they have absolutely no idea of how they got there or even who they are. They completely lost their memory, and they know nothing, basically. As the story evolves, we just see that they are sort of despised. So wherever they go, people tend to be very hostile towards them, and they just don't understand why. It turns out that they are related to an old family, like a tyrannic sort of dictator family that used to run the empire before. So this family is called the Blackwell. They are related to the Blackwell. We have no idea how as of now, but we know that they are related to them. It's also shown in some different music videos. So for example, if you take Tonight Is the Night I Die, they did an entire music video on the Blackwell family and how Aldius is murdered. Funny enough, this murder is depicted in one of the newspapers that they created. So they created 2 newspapers in this bastard universe. They have the Bastard Times, so like the New York Times, but their version. And they have the Obsidian Empire Archives, which depicts the murder of Aldius. Also, we learn that the island is ruled by some obscure corporation that people worship. It's really a worship, like they are sort of gods on the island. And this organization called Lysel, so it's a palindrome for lies. It's lies and spelled backwards, and it can also read lies cell. Is this organization run by a person called Warhol? So it's that guy who did the soundtrack, and this Warhol person is seen as a hero to everybody. He freed the Obsidian people from the oppression of the Blackwell, but he's secretly experimenting on the population. And it turns out that the bastards themselves have been experiments of Warhol. And it's probably one of the reasons why they have no memory, why they have no recollection of what happened before. Also, the book features a lot of Emerson's drawings. He's absolutely fascinated by architecture, and he draws a lot of European monuments. Now, it was funny for me to read the book because I am French, but I live in Prague, in Czech Republic. And as I was reading this, I was just seeing pictures of Prague and of some monuments in France. So you can see that he got his inspiration from Old Town Square in Prague, from the Charles Bridge, or from the Mont Saint-Michel in France. So it's just it's beautiful to see how everything is put together. And he's also a very talented artist. I mean, he really makes some beautiful drawings and nice architecture.
Energies of life have in them a possibility of an excess, of going too far. When you bring up your children and you tell your children your various far-out ideas, and the children suddenly believe in them.
Overall, I can say that I enjoyed reading the book very much. I read it in not even 2 days, I think. It's pleasant. It's easy to read. It draws you in. If you like the music, if you're a fan of the band in the first place, it's a beautiful piece of art. And for me, it's really important to see that a band is more than music. Fortunately or unfortunately, there's a lot of musicians nowadays, so it's really hard to pick your favorite and tell them apart. Music is one thing, but if you have something more, if you create a storyline, if you create a universe for your fan, something they can identify with, something they can dress up as, I think it's just much more than music, and to me, it's essential. No such thing as love in LA. Plastic people don't got nothing to say. They're judging me, I'm judging you. We ain't got nothing else to do. There's no such thing as love in LA. As to what we can expect for the new era, it's hard to tell. The Bastard Volume 1 ends up with the three brothers getting this letter to go to the Obsidian Empire. So we can guess that the Volume 2 will no longer be set in Vismont, in the city of Vismont, but rather on the Obsidian Island. I personally drew the parallel to the latest music video they have released for No Love in LA. In my opinion, the Obsidian Empire or the Obsidian Island is a little bit like Los Angeles, which is the city that the guys live in. It's shiny on the outside, it's dreamland for everyone, and once you live there, it's a little bit toxic. It's just my personal guess that this manor where No Love in LA is happening is the Warhol Manor. And you can see a doctor with his wheelbarrow sort of carrying a body at some point. I just think that they're taking visitors to the manor, and then from there they get their people to experiment on. So that's it, guys. For those who do not know Palais Royal, I hope that this video made you want to discover the band. For those who do know the band, if I skipped over some details, I really apologize. To make a short video that explains everything is absolutely impossible, so please forgive me if I overlooked something important to you. If you like this kind of content, please let me know, and I will be happy to make a little bit more of a deep dive into their universe. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Well, I don't feel quite right. There's something in the air tonight. Must be the way she's looking at me. Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with me? Well, I don't feel quite right. There's something in the air now tonight. Must be the way that she speaks. Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with me? Well, something is wrong. No, 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 no. Something is wrong.
One of the best lyrical bands out there right now is 21 Pilots, obviously. And I think, Tyler Joseph is a fucking genius when it comes to lyrics. So he really inspires me when it comes to writing.